Dr. Jeremy Levitt just returned from a trip to Senegal. He's been to Africa many times, but this trip was extra special because youngsters from the community joined him. The trip was sponsored by Stono Institute, of which Dr. Levitt is the founder and president. Welcome, Dr. Levitt.
Great to be with you.
So tell us about this trip and what inspired your work and your choice to take young people with you.
So we mentor young black boys for an entire year, and if they complete our program, we take them on a trip to Africa. In this case, we went to Senegal, West Africa. And you know, Africa has transformative powers. So you take a group of young black men there, and we can show them better than we can teach them in Africa, right? So the key to their success is having a sense of self-esteem and motivation and pride. It's hard to do in communities that tell you everything but that, whether it's in the schools, whether it's at home, whether it's in your local communities, whether it's on the internet or the television. The black male takes in a lot of negative stimuli, and what we want to do is take them to the continent and let them open their eyes. And so there's no greater validation than that.
I love that. And so the Stono Institute, is that the main mission of the foundation?
No, we do several things. The Stono Institute is involved with police reform and police accountability, mentoring of black youth, both young girls and young men, and we engage in a variety of different de-escalation trainings around the city. So we're partners with the city, we're partners with the county, we're partners with individuals and corporations, and what we do is we deliver needed services that are not there. In this case, this trip was funded by all black men. So we have a variety, a very diverse category of citizens that support our organization, but it's very important that black men supported black youth in going on this trip. So we wouldn't take a donation from anyone but black men. So black men funded this trip.
That's wonderful. And what were their ages? What are the ages of the young men who
14 to 18 years old on this trip. And so we had to begin with kind of this study of leadership. How do you know that you're an American in a diverse democracy? You only know that because you have a U.S. passport, because you believe in some ideology of equality and fairness and justice, right? And so we began by getting them their citizenship, right? What do I mean by that is they're born here, but you can't authenticate it. You can't travel unless you have a passport. So we had to start with kids who've never had passports and take them and their families through the process of getting a passport. Then you typically have to get visas to travel to any country outside the U.S., outside of those that we have very close partnerships with, like Canada or some European states. But in Senegal, Americans can travel visa-free. So it is one of the homes of African Americans. Probably 60% of blacks in the Americas came out of what was called then the Senegambia. And it's one of the places that wants us to come back and invest, to engage in relations with the country, whether it be trade or cultural. And thousands of African Americans return to West Africa every year, some to Ghana, some to Senegal. But Senegal has the strongest tourism infrastructure for African Americans.
What has been the feedback from the young people that you took?
Transformative. One of the things that all of them were consistent about was that the stress of being a young black male left them as soon as they got off the plane. Because everyone looks like them.
Yeah.
The president looks like them, right? All of the members of the legislative branch look like them, and the judiciary and the police. And so they had no stress. So we were stopped by the police because one of our drivers was lacking a permit. Our kids didn't even pay attention to being stopped by the police. That's a far cry from being stopped in Washington Shores or Pine Hills by the police. And they acknowledged the fact that they didn't feel any stress when the police approached them and did the things that they needed to do to check the individual that was driving us. So complete transformation, complete freedom for them.
What are some of the places you visited?
So we went to Dakar, which is the capital, and within Dakar we visited the Gorée Island, which is only one of two places in Africa that is still intact, where blacks were shipped from in the transatlantic slave trade to the Americas, to North, South, and Central America and the Caribbean. So we visited that, and they have a door of no return. And each boy had to go through the door of no return and return back through the door of no return as a way of honoring the legacy of the ancestors that came before them. They have the African Renaissance Monument, which is the largest statue of black people in the world, larger than the Statue of Liberty, which has a museum inside of it within Dakar, Senegal. They have a pink lake, which is a purely pink lake. It's a beautiful thing to say. There are rituals that we do at the Pink Lake. And then they have the Museum of Black Civilization, which is the largest museum in the world dedicated to the study of black civilization. And so we visited all those places and other local communities, and the kids just had a phenomenal time.
Wow. Well, thank you for coming and sharing. Thank you for the work you're doing. That is so important. It sounds like something that a lot of people, more people should know about it. So I'm glad that you came here to share it with us.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Levitt. The experience in the motherland made a remarkable difference in the lives of the young people who made the journey.